Okay, let's start this one. Let's see how far you can get. So, no, it's not this one. It's the other one. Okay, so it's a subtraction problem. So let me just get my pen ready. And we can do negative 13 plus negative 25, right? We're going to change that to a subtraction problem. And they're all friends, so we're going to add 13 and 25, and it's going to give us 37, but negative. Over here, I'm going to do these two first. So you can tell the negatives are going to win, right? So 37 minus 14 is 23, but it's going to be negative. And then we got negative 23 minus 18. Let's change that to an addition. Negative 23 plus negative 18. They're both friends, so I end up with 41 negative. Likewise, 38 plus negative 83. Who's going to win? The negatives. It's going to be a negative number, so 83 minus 38. It's going to be negative 45. Let's do these two first. So negative 23 plus negative 45. They're friends, yeah? It's going to be negative 68. And then I'm going to change colors just to show you that it's this part. Oops. This part here. And that's minus 65. So again, change it to an addition so it's easier for us to understand what's going on. They're both friends, right? They're both negative, so it's going to be negative. And then we're going to add 8 plus 5 is 13, carry 1, 6 plus 6 is 12, 123. The temperature dropped negative 6 for 8 hours, for the past 8 hours. Write an expression to represent the situation and then determine how much the temperature dropped in 8 hours. So it's negative 6, right? It dropped. How many times did it drop? For 8 hours straight. So in total, it dropped negative 48 degrees, right? Because it was negative 6, and it kept falling. Negative 6, negative 6, negative 6, 8 times, right? So the temperature kept dropping. And it dropped how many degrees? Negative 48. F, it's a division of fractions, so we know that we have to change it to multiplication. Negative 5 over 7 times, I'm going to use a reciprocal, which is 8 over 3. Negative times negative is a positive. 5 times 8 is 40. 7 times 3 is 21. I'm going to change that to a mixed number. It's going to be 1, 19 over 21. Positive. Again, this is a division problem, but before it's a division problem, I'm going to change this to a mixed number, improper fraction. Times and plus, 3 times 2 is 6, so it's going to be 7/3 negative. Divided by 3 times 2 is 6, 7 over 2. Negative, and then now I'm going to change it to a multiplication problem. Don't forget the negative signs. It's going to be positive, and then I can simplify these two, and I get 1 and 1, right? So it's going to be 2 over 3. Okay. This one, I would change this. I'd probably change this to a fraction. So this one is already a fraction. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3. So it's 8 over 5 divided by, and 0.45 is negative 45 over 100. So don't forget that. And we're going to do 8. I'm going to change it to multiplication. And we're going to do 100 over 45. There's a lot we can simplify. Or you can just multiply across and then simplify. But 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And then 20 and 45, we can also divide by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. So on top, I'm going to get 8 times 4, which is 32. And at the bottom, I'm going to get a 9. Just remember it's negative because a positive times a negative is a negative. 9 goes 32 3 times, which is 27. 5 left over 9. And again, don't forget that it's a minus. It's a complex fraction, this one, so we have to and what do you call, where are we? One letter I, right? Okay, so this one, We're going to subtract the top first. So let's do 4/5. Let me do 4/5 minus 8/9. So let me do that first. Find the common denominator, which is 45. We got to change this times 9 and this times 9. It's going to give us 36. It's going to be times 5 and on top times 5, which is going to give us 40. Now, this, again, highly suggest to change that to an addition. So it's 36 over 45 plus, right, negative 40 over 45, right? Keep the first, change the subtraction to addition, and we use the additive inverse. The opposite of 40 over 45 is negative 40 over 45. Who's going to win? So we know it's going to be 45. We know the negatives are going to win. Why are they going to win? Because they have 4 more. So this is the answer for the top. So the top is going to change to negative 4 over 45. Then at the bottom we have 3 over 7. We can rewrite this as negative 4 over 45 divided by 3 over 7. Let's change that to a multiplication problem. So it's negative 4 over 45 times 7 over 3. Nothing to simplify. On top is negative times the positive is a negative. 4 times 7 is 28. And 45 times 3 is 90, 135. Final answer. Round 7/10 or nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's divide. So 7 go inside over 12. It doesn't work. So we add a decimal. It allows us to add a 0. 7 goes to 75 times, which is 60. Subtract 10 left over. Bring a 0 down. 12 goes into 108 times, which is 96. Subtract 4 left over. Bring a 0 down. 12 goes into 43 times, which is 36. 4 left over again, and you can tell now that it's going to be another 3. So it's going to be 0.583 with a 3, 3, forever, never, and you should write your answer like this. That gives you a full point. Nothing else but that. And then describing words, what 11/16 is a decimal. Well, I want to divide first before I describe it, right? So 11 goes inside. 16 does not go into 11, so let's add a decimal. 16 goes into 110 6 times, which is 96. Yeah. 6 times 6 is 36. Carries 3, 96. We're going to have 14 left over. Bring a 0 down. 6 going to 14 7 times, 8 times, 48. Yeah, I think it looks like 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Goes 4, 12, 128. We're going to have 12 left over. Bring a 0 down. 16 goes into 120. 7 times. Yeah, 7 times looks right. So 7 times 6 is 42. Carry the 4, 112. Carry the 4, 112. So we're going to do it. 8 left over. Bring a 0 down. 16 goes into 80 5 times. And then remember, so this is a decimal. This is called a non-repeating decimal that doesn't repeat. Nothing's repeating. It's just over, right? And non-repeating terminating decimal. Right? It's a decimal that never repeats. There's nothing repeating, and it actually ends right here. That's it. That's your answer. Okay, because you have no remainder. Find two numbers that are 4.5 units. So the best way to do this is draw a number line. So here's 0. I don't know, let's write 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. I'm going to need a few of these numbers, negative 6. Over here, I'm going to write 1 and 2. So we want, where are we? We're negative 2. What numbers are 4.5 units from that? Well, let's go to the right first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4.5. Let me just extend this line a little bit. So again, change colors. 4 units away would be 1, 2, 3, 4.5. What number would that be? Well, that number would be 2.5. So if you go 2.4 units, 4.5 units to the right, you land at 2.5. So that's one number. That's 4.5 units. And on the other side, let's go 4.5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 will land us at negative 6.5. So here are my two numbers that are 4 units to the right of negative 2 and 4 units to the left of negative 2. Add, so it's two fractions. So again, we can put this like this. Right, change that to addition, and this becomes negative 89.3. They're both friends, so we're going to add 23.78 plus 89.3. 8, 10, plus 1, 10, 13, equals 103.08, pero negative. On this side, again, 65.32 stays, that change to addition, and then the additive inverse, 98.879. Who's going to win? So my negatives are going to win, so let's find what the answer is. So we're going to do 98.879 minus 65.32. I'm going to add a 0 here as a placeholder. Subtract 95533. So final answer is going to be 3.559, but negative. Okay. I'm going to evaluate this, so we need to find a common denominator. So it's going to be, let's change that to a mixed number. So it's going to be 3 times 5, 15, 19 over 5, negative, minus 36 plus 5 is 41, 41 over 6, negative, right? So we're going to do that. What's the common denominator here? The common denominator is going to be 30, so I'm going to change this to 30. And 30. But this is times 6, and therefore times 6, which is 54, goes 5, 114. Here is times 5, so on the top is times 5, so I'm going to get 205. Negative 114 over 30, plus, right, because I'm going to change the subtraction to addition, negative 205 over 30. They're both friends, so it's going to be 30 at the bottom and negative, right? 114 plus 205 is going to be 319. Which you can change to mixed number if you like. This one, what's the common denominator between 7 and 15? I think it's going to be 105. I have a feeling it's going to be 105. And it is. So this was times 15. Times 15 is 45. Times 7 here. It's going to be times 7 at the top, right? So times 7, times 7, times 15, times 15. Subtract, so it's 45 over 105 plus negative 56 over 105. Well, the answer is going to be 105. Positive or negative? Negative. There's more negatives. How many more? 11 more. So that's my answer. For this one, I'm actually going to change everything to a decimal. So that's already a decimal. But here I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to change that to plus. I'm going to change this to the opposite inverse. So what's 4 over 5? 4 over 5, 0.8. Plus 0.28. And the last one, I'm going to change that subtraction to addition. And I change the half to negative 0.5. So I change everything to decimals. So if I add these two, I get 1.65. And then I'm going to add the plus 0.28. And that's going to give us 1.93. And then I'm going to do plus 0.5 plus negative 0.5. There's more positives over here. So 1.93 minus 0.5 is 1.43. And that's my final answer. Same thing here. I'm going to take advantage that I have friendly fractions. I'm going to change negative 1/4 to 0.25 plus 0.35 minus 1/5. I'm going to put 0.2 minus 0.65, and the last one minus 3 over 10 is just 0.3. So give me a second here. Okay. Sneeze. So for this one, you can just add. Sorry. And then just add the numbers, right? So this is going to be, you can add these two together. It's going to be 0.10 positive. And then you're going to do these two together up to here. And that's going to give you negative 0.10. And you can do these two, it's going to give you negative 0.75. And if you do this one with negative 0.3, it's going to give you negative 1.5. So this is what you can do here is do this. Did I skip a question? I feel like I skipped one. Well, over here we can do this. Change it to multiplication, right? I'll change that to multiplication too. But 1 3/5, remember that 1 3/5 is 5 times 1 is 5, it's 8 over 5, right? We can change it to 5 over 8. Is there anything we can simplify? Oof. No. So, it's 5, well, it's negative times positive times negative, it's going to be negative. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 5 is 75. And then this is going to be 8 times 8 is 64, 128. So that's my final answer. This one, let me change it to change it 2 and 1/5 to 11 over 5. Okay, so that just, this, I change it, so it's negative 7 over 8 times 11 over 5, and then times negative 6 over 5. Sheesh. Nothing to simplify. That's 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 5 is 200. So the bottom's going to be 200. And then, not negative. I don't know why I put it negative there. 77. 7 times 11 is 77. And then times 6. 2, 4, 42. 42 plus 4 is 462. Oh, I could simplify. I'm sorry. I could simplify these two. So this is going to be 2 and 62 over 200, which I'm going to simplify to 2, let me see, 32 over 100. I can simplify again to 16 over 50, and finally to 8 over 25. So simplify, simplify, simplify. This one. Let's see. I can add these two first, right? So I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. It's going to be negative 23 over 5 plus 7 over 3 divided by negative 1.2. Let me just see one thing here. So I'm going to now add those two, find a common denominator. It's going to be times 3, which is going to be 69, times 5 is going to be 35, divided by negative 1.2. And I'm just going to go ahead and change negative 1.2 to a fraction. That's going to be negative 12 over 10. So over here inside, it's going to be, the negatives are going to win, right? So it's 69 minus 35. It's going to be 34. And then division, I'm going to change to multiplication and use a reciprocal. I can now multiply, but I'm going to simplify. Divided by 5 is 2, divided by 5 is 3, divided by 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 17. Negative times, and this is a negative. So negative times negative is a positive. It's going to be, I can simplify this one more time. It's going to be 17 over 9, not negative. Again, I'm going to change, so it's going to be 3 over 2 minus 21 plus 4 is 25 over 7. I change this to a fraction. It's going to be 21 over 10. Find the common denominator, which is 14, right? So it's going to be times 7. Times 7, it's 21. Times 2 is going to be 50. Divided by 21 over 10. So here I can remember change to an addition. So it's going to be 21 over 14 plus negative 50 over 14. Then divide that by 21 over 10. So who's going to win? The negative or positive? The negative. So I'm going to put it over here. Negative is going to be win, and 50 minus 21 is 29. Divided by 21 over 10. Change the multiplication. Right, now I can divide this by 2, 7, divided by 2 is 5. 7 times 21 is 147. 45, 5 times that's 45 goes 4. Negative 145 over 147. And this one, it's a complex fraction. So let's change this a little bit. So I'm going to write negative 7 over 8 divided by negative 5 over 9. I'm just going to change this to this so we can understand. And then plus negative 2/5. Negative 7 over 8 times negative 9 over 5, right? You simplify anything? No, so it's going to be negative times negative is a positive, and then it's going to be 63 over 40. I'm going to leave it like this because I have to add to this. Find a common denominator, which in this case is just going to be 40. That stays, and this is times 8. Times 8, 16. Who's going to win? The positive is going to win, right? So it can be equals to 40. 63 minus 16. 7. 5 minus 1 is 47. And that's my final answer. Same thing. Negative 2 over 3. Let me just write it out differently. Divided by negative 1 and 1/7. So that's what this looks like right here. And then plus negative 5 over 8. Oops. Negative 2 over 3 divided by, this is times and plus 7. It's going to be negative 8 over 7. Okay, so let's take care of this first. Negative 2 over 3 times 7 over negative 8. And we can, that's going to give me, let me simplify this. 4, right? Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 7 is 7. 3 times so 7 over 12. So I'm going to get 7 over 12 plus negative 5 over 8. LCM is 24. Times 2 times 2 is 14. Times 3 times 3 is 15. That's 24 and negative 1 over here. That's my final answer. So this is a Christmas toy, right? And it's changing the price. So first thing we have to do is write this sentence here. So we get 7.2 minus 1.45 minus 9.4 minus 3.5 plus 8.77. Oops. Minus 3.5 plus 8.77. We're going to do these two first, right? So that's 7.2 plus, so I've got, if you can, I'm going to let you use a calculator here. I think that's going to save you time. 7.2 minus 1.45. 7.2 minus 1.45. So I got my phone, sorry. 7.2 minus 1.45. I'm just going to do the whole thing. If I can. Minus 1.45. That's going to give us negative 5.75. Right? And then I'm going to take these and do it from here. Right? Negative minus 5.5. I'm just going to do the whole thing. I'm sorry. Minus 1.45 minus 7.2 minus. Okay, 7.2 minus 1.45 minus 9.4 minus 3. 7.2 minus 1.45 minus 9.4 minus 3.5 plus 8.77. So I got that the price at the end of the week, if you, this is going to be negative 16.43. So did the price go up? The toy, the price of the toy. So I'm going to write price of the toy went down or decreased. Oops, I need that number. So negative 16.43. So let's remember that number. Negative 16.43. So here what we know is, here we go, start, change, quickly, negative 16.43. What was my final price? 34.2. So there was a price of the toy. It went down to went down negative 16.43, and it equals 34.2. So what was the beginning price? So this is what I want to find out. So I have to add these two, right? So I'm going to take this 34.2. I'm going to do plus 16.43. Let me add a 0. It's going to be 3, 6, 10. So it's going to be 50. So let's see if that makes sense. It means at the beginning of the week, the price of the toy was $50.63. It went down 16.43, and it ended up being 34.20. That makes sense. So this is what I needed. So this is that bank question. It's just a different number. So Sam has $63 in her bank account. She writes 5 checks of $20.05. So 5 It's going to be equal to 25, $100.25. So she writes 5 checks, and she doesn't have any money, not enough to cover. So let's write that 100.25. So 63 minus 100.25 is going to give that she's now going to be negative 37.25. Okay, so the bank owed her some money, right? She took some money to the bank to buy, or she wrote 5 checks, so the bank covered her, all right? So the checks don't bounce. So let's write a number line here. Put a number line just to show you. Here's 0, sort of. And this is where she is right now. She knows, and the bank, like I was explaining to you guys, the bank says you always have to have $75 in your bank account. She's here. She has to go back to the bank because she used all that money and deposit enough money that she goes all the way from negative 37.25 all the way to positive 75. So how much money does she have to be? Well, think about in terms of distance, if you want. Well, from here to here, just to get her to 0, how much money does she have to deposit? $37.25. She's negative $37.25. Just so to get her to 0, she has to put $37.25. And then she has to put another $75 in the bank. So the total would be these two numbers added up, right? So it's 37.25 plus 75. It's going to give us 37.25 plus 75, $112.25. So that's how much money she has to put in the bank. And then at the bottom it says because she went negative, right, her account balance was negative, they're also going to charge her a 19.99 fee, a penalty. So she has to deposit all that money to get her to positive, plus pay a fine of $19.99. That's going to give us $132.24. Okay, so we want to buy some meat here, right? So 1 3/4 ribeye. How much is ribeye? Times, this is the ribeye, times 11.55. And then we want to go sirloin. The sirloin we went by 1 3/4, and then we times what? What's a sirloin? 8.45. All right, so you can put that in your calculator. And this is going to cost us $20.21. The sirloin is going to cost us oops, where's the sirloin? Okay, the sirloin sirloin's going to cost us $14. Did I just do this? I did something wrong here. The ribeye is 11.55. Okay. The sirloin, okay, $14.79. Which was more expensive? This guy is more expensive. By how much? Well, let's subtract. So 20.2 minus 14.79. 5.41. Tim buys half a pound or half a pound of flank times 7.45, and then he buys 2.5 pounds of ground beef times 3.45. So let's figure out how much this is. This is going to be 7.73. And this is going to be 8.63. So we're going to add these two, right? So 3.73 plus 8.63. 3.73 plus 8.63 equals 12.36. So, and now he paid with a coupon, right? He paid with a coupon. How much change did he get back? Well, 25 minus 12.36. It's going to give him $12.60. Right? It's like a $12.64. That's how much he gets back. Okay. So I think that's that.